Hey guys, it's Melanisha with Just Homesteading. Excuse the lighting. I could not find good lighting in the garden today. It's extremely hot and bright out here, but I am going to be harvesting one of my beds of potatoes today. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that something has been eating my potatoes. I discovered that yesterday. And I'm pretty sure it's probably a mouse or some other kind of rodent. Someone suggested hilling up my potatoes and that maybe that would solve the problem. And I was strongly considering that, especially since I have some old hay bales laying around, hay or straw, whatever it is. But when I checked on the garden this morning, I found new damage. And it looks like they actually dug for these potatoes. So I'm just going to pull them. I know 100% that they are not ready. Some of them are still flowering, and they have not started to die back at all. So I'm just going to pull them, because if I put the straw on top, then I'm not going to know that, damage is still being caused to the plants. So I'm just going to pull them. I'll get what I get. I think the good thing is, though, is that at my previous property, I did not have such a large garden. So most of my canning was done by buying from, local farmers and things during garden season. So I can supplement. I can get potatoes from some of our local farmers and have that for my family. So we're going to pull them. We're going to see what we get, because again, I think, some harvest is better than no harvest. And I think since they have found the potatoes, it's just whatever it is, it's just going to keep coming back. And then I also thought about it this morning when we pulled our carrots last week, and I forgot to take a picture. Biggest carrots we've ever grown, but not necessarily big carrots like the ones you would see in the grocery store. But some of the carrots that were like, how the carrots start to pop up out of the soil, something was eating those too. So I bet you whatever was eating the carrots moved on to the potatoes once we pulled the carrots out. So I'm going to go over here, and it's like probably the hottest part of the day. But I'm going to start picking these potatoes. I won't be able to record the entire thing because my garden gets no shade whatsoever. It's full sun all day. So my camera just won't stay on that long. It'll start to overheat. But I will show you as I pull maybe the first few plants, just to show you what I'm going to get. I only brought over a small basket because I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting probably a good amount of pest damage. So keep your fingers crossed for me, but let me get my gloves on and I'll turn this camera around. Okay, so this is the potato bed. As you can see, there are still flowers in here. For the most part, the plants are nice and green, so these just aren't ready. But if you look down in here, you can see that whatever was in here it's coming back. So we're gonna pull these potatoes. So I'm gonna start at this end and work my way down. And I just have this small bucket here, and this is what I'm going to use. So not a lot of weeds in this bed, and we'll just start with this plant. And so I planted 10 pounds. Sorry, the sun is so bright I can't tell if you guys can actually see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can. Yep, see that? So this one probably just started. The flowers probably fell off of that one a little while ago, or recently. There's a potato. Yeah, so there's 10 pounds of seed potato in here. Well, that's not bad. Get these weeds out of my way. There's another one. And I am also baking the first batch of zucchini muffins for this season. They were just getting started. Oh. So I'll have to run back in the house to get those. Oh, there's the seed potato. See that? Always gross. But let me dig in here and I will update you after I pull some of these plants out. I pulled one row of potatoes so far. There are 4 rows in here. And this is what I got. So it's not terrible. And these are the ones with pest damage. Look at this. This was probably the biggest potato so far. And look at that. I think they've been eating these potatoes for a while. See that? So I have to go check on my zucchini muffins. I'm going to run and do that. And then I'm going to come back out and finish pulling the rest of these potatoes. All right, I'm down to the last 2 rows. It's super hot out here. And I would say at least probably 25% so far has pest damage. And then I'm also seeing what I'm pretty sure is some scab. They're still edible with the scab, but see that? But I swear the pests sure know how to pick the largest potatoes in here. Look, see, these were just starting to grow. So I don't know. All right, guys, so my computer shut off, or not my computer, Lord, it's so hot. My camera shut off because of the heat, but I finished digging. I had to take it inside to cool it down. I finished digging my cathodon potatoes, and there was actually an animal in there. I have no idea what it was, but it was small, but it won't be eating any more of my vegetables. So, but I also took a look at my red potatoes, and I'll show you that in a minute, but let me turn this camera around and show you what I ended up with and what the pest damage looks like. Okay. So the silver bucket is what is edible. So like I said, I do see some scab. Scab, it's okay to eat, but it won't store. So we will be eating these potatoes up. We're a large family. It won't take us too long. And then this black container, all of that is pest damage. I mean, look, I swear the pests always eat the biggest potatoes. So, so yeah, it's disappointing. It's like the universe always gives you like some good news, and then always make sure you take 2 steps back, and I will show you in a minute why I say that. But so yeah, these are my cathodon potatoes. I will probably run in the house and grab my scale just to see how much these things weigh, to see if even with the pest damage I got more than what I planted, but I don't think so because I planted 10 pounds of seed potatoes in this bed. So but let me show you what else is also damaged. So today might be a day of picking all of my potatoes. So you can't really see it because I need to get the grass cut, and I will likely get that done today. But this is like one of those wine barrel planters, as you can see, is actually starting to die back. This is my red Pontiac potatoes. So I came over here to peek at this, and as you can see, if you look all the way down in there, you see that white? Something has been digging in here. So we are going to pull these right now, and then after I pull these, I'm going to go check my other potato buckets, and I'm going to need a new plan for next year because this is not going to work, because these and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a rodent of some kind. They are devouring my potato crop, and that just can't happen. So we will put a plan in place for next year. So if you guys have some suggestions on how to keep pests, specifically rodents, out of your garden, put it in the comments below. So let's see again in these and I did add soil to this bed, but I mean, you can see the potatoes are popping up. So, and this is too large for me to lift, so I'm gonna have to just pull the plants out and then dig, and then hope that I don't find any more animals. So where is, oh, will you bring me that bucket? I have one of my sons is out here with me, and I had him bring up my other silver bucket so I could, yep, there it is, pest damage. All right, so let me pull these and then I will show you what I get. And since I've already found an animal in one of these beds, I need to be on high alert in case I need to make sure that another one is not eating my crop. So I will be back after I am done pulling these potatoes. All right, so my camera is not cooperating today. It is not liking all of the heat that we have going on today. I think it's about probably 80 something degrees today. But I picked my Cathodon potatoes that were in that raised bed. I picked my red Pontiac potatoes that were in that wine, it was like a wine barrel planter. And then I had a bunch of potatoes planted in just some regular size planters. I picked all of those, and then I had some potatoes planted in like a little square wooden box. So I picked those too. I have 3 pots of potatoes, and then one, it's like one of those 55-gallon barrels cut in half. So those are at the top of the garden. I left those where they were. It's so hot. But I picked everything else, and I will show you the final harvest. This is not a good sign for my sweet potatoes. So it is so hot. I'm just a sweaty mess. I have sweet potatoes planted in a raised bed, and then also in a 100-gallon grow bag. And I did have some issues last year with something eating my potatoes in the 100-gallon grow bag. So I'm going to have to keep a close eye on my sweet potatoes so that hopefully, again, I get some harvest and not no harvest. So, but I think even with the pest damage, so there was no pest damage in the small planters, definitely pest damage in the wine barrel planter. One of the small planters did have an ant's nest in it, which I just didn't even realize. But they didn't harm the potatoes or anything like that. So this is in no way enough potatoes to last us until the next harvest. So I will have to supplement. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. And, if I wait a little bit, then the local farmers will start to put their 50-pound bags of potatoes on sale. And those are the things that I can buy and put down in the root cellar. So let me turn my camera around. I will show you what we ended up with and what the pest damage looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I have 3 silver buckets on my table here. The one in the back there, that's the only one that's actually meant for this kind of stuff. I think these are more decorative, but I found them on clearance and figured they'd be good to store things in my root cellar. These are the Katahdin potatoes right here, and you can see, and this is kind of actually, this one, I mean, I guess technically we can eat that, but that's scab. So again, these are not going to be good to store. Honestly, none of these are, because you're really supposed to wait like a week or two until after the plants die back, so that way they can get a tough skin. So as you can see here, I mean, you can essentially rub this skin right off of these potatoes. So those are the Katahdin potatoes. Over here, there's red Pontiac. There's those blue potatoes that you get from the big box store. I don't actually know what the name is. There's Kenneback in here and Yukon Gold. So I think that's everything that's in here. And actually, so the Kenneback potatoes are in a trench in the middle section of the garden. And honestly, I kind of forgot that they were there. So I will need to go check those to see if those have any pest damage. And if they do, I will need to pull them. Again, they would not be ready because, sorry, there was a bug on me. There's always a bug on me out here. They wouldn't be ready. The leaves aren't starting to die back or anything like that. So I would be pulling them early too. I don't know if you can really get a good sense of the size of these buckets, but they're kind of full. And then this is the bucket with the pest damage. So, I mean, they really like the Katahdin potatoes. I'm guessing that the rodents just found the red Pontiac potatoes because there wasn't as much damage in those, but they were definitely eating on the Katahdin potatoes. And I don't know why the pests just can't eat a whole potato. Like, why do they have to eat over so many different potatoes, and then they always eat the big ones? So I've already weighed this because this is the only bucket that I have that has a handle on it where I can use my little, where is it? I just had it. My little scale. So there are, and I don't know how much this bucket weighs, but when I weighed this one, it was 6 pounds. So the bucket is probably, I don't think the bucket is actually a pound. It's a good solid bucket. I got it from, I think, Tractor Supply. But there's 6 pounds of potatoes in here that can't be used because we're not going to eat these. These are just going to, I don't have a compost pile set up yet, so they're just unfortunately going to go in the trash. Because if I just set them out in the yard, I think, I don't know what will end up in the yard. So let me get these in the trash, and then I will weigh the other potatoes. Okay, so this bucket weighs 20 pounds, and we'll just say that the bucket weighs a pound, so 19 pounds. And then this one was 18, so we'll say 17 pounds. So that would give me a total of, 36 pounds in these 2 buckets. So it's not terrible. I think I planted maybe about 40, somewhere between 40 and 45 pounds of seed potatoes. So it doesn't get me over the number of what I planted. Like I said, I do still have some potatoes that need to be harvested. Hopefully they won't have as much pest damage as these do. But nonetheless, it's food that will feed my family. So it's not what I wanted. But it's better than nothing. So you'll see this is where the potatoes were coming up out of the ground, and you can really see that scab on this one, but it gets that green color. So you're not supposed to eat the ones that have the green on it. Some people just chuck the entire potato. Some people would use it as a seed potato. I wouldn't use this as a seed potato because it has scab on it. And some people just cut the green part off and eat the rest. So do your own research and you can decide what you want to do. So I'm glad I decided to harvest, especially the scab would just keep getting worse. Again, those parts I can just cut them off and we can eat the rest. But oh, and I missed this one. This one definitely has some rodent damage, so that's gonna go in the trash. But this is what we have. So you know, if you have any ideas of how to keep rodents out of the garden, feel free to put that information in the comments. I am not opposed to methods that will ensure that they do not come back. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.